Hey everyone, Ben Bono here with my latest YouTube/podcasting venture. This one, I gotta be honest, is really gonna be more for myself that I'm doing this than for anyone else. So hopefully some people will watch this and maybe even benefit from it. But I'm doing this for myself because I want to read the Summa Theologica. I have read several sections of it, but I want to read it, and not only read it, but understand it. And I've found with myself that one of the best ways to do that, of course, is to teach it. Not that I'm actually qualified to teach something as great as Thomas Aquinas, but hopefully in disciplining myself to record some brief videos of the Summa as we go along, it will help my comprehension of it and force me to actually get into it and truly understand what the angelic doctor is saying to us in this most important of works. So these are going to be short videos, no more than a few minutes each, and we're going to do a couple introductory ones. Next one's going to be on the life of Thomas Aquinas, who he was, why you should care. Then we're going to talk about the structure of the Summa, and then finally we'll get into the Summa itself in the fourth video, and we'll just go question by question through it, one video per question. Okay, the goal of these videos is not going to be an extensive understanding of St. Thomas' his work. It's going to be a basic comprehension. So I'm not trying to necessarily lay out every last nuance of the Summa. I'm not trying to lay out an expert opinion because, well, I do have some formal education in theology at the postgraduate level. I am, or at the graduate level, I have a couple masters in theology. I'm by no means an expert in Thomas Aquinas. It's an incredibly difficult book, as anyone who has ever attempted to read it or actually read it knows, but yet one very much worth doing. So it's going to be, the goal is going to be basic comprehension, not expertise and not debate or evaluation. So whether or not you or I or whoever agrees with every last word of the Summa is kind of irrelevant. The point is to actually understand what we're reading. So to that end, of course, if there are any errors I make, or I should say when there are errors that I make along the way, please feel free to offer correction in the comments as we go. So a couple of things that we're going to be doing as far as the tricks of the trade here, or the tools I'm going to be using. One of the things I think is key in reading the Summa is making sure that the terminology he uses is understood, because that can be very difficult. So to that end, for each question, as different terms come up that are maybe unusual, we'll make sure to define those, and then we'll go through the articles quickly one at a time to explain what he is trying to say. As far as defining terminology, I've got a couple of sources that I'm going to be using here. I just picked up this excellent and hefty resource, the Lexicon of St. Thomas Aquinas, for I think it's mostly the Summa, but it probably covers his whole work. So, you know, fortunately, a lot of it, you probably can't see that very well, hold it up there, but a lot of it's in Latin, which I don't speak much Latin or read much Latin, but you can figure out what the basic word is to look up what you want to look up, and then thankfully they have kind of a definition, short explanation that's in English, so that's proven very helpful to me in figuring out, what exactly does he mean by, the divine notions versus the divine essence versus the divine substance, and all these heavily nuanced terms that are quite confusing. And then we have here, I have another Thomas Aquinas dictionary that I'm going to be referring to. This is from Morris Stockhammer, compiled this. And what this is it just will have different terms. Again, it's not nearly as extensive, but then it will have a reference or a quote from the Summa where Aquinas uses that term in what is hopefully an explanatory way. So, he's got, like, I'm looking at the F's here, face, faculty, faith, just get a sense of how St. Thomas was using that phrase. And then, in addition, of course, to the Summa itself there, I'm also going to be making use of Reginald Garrigou-Lagrange's commentaries on the Summa. And I've seen, this is just the first one. I mean, this 700-page book goes through the first 26 questions, and that's proven quite helpful to me as well in terms of my comprehension of the Summa as well. I'm going to be using, of course, other books, other on St. Thomas, good old Google, of course. Chesterton has a great book on Aquinas that I want to check out, and so we'll use some of those tips along the way. But that stuff, the lexicon, the commentary, and the Summa itself, are going to be the main sources that I will be using to aid in my comprehension and help with these videos. All right, so that's it for the introduction. Next time we'll talk about who St. Thomas was and why you should care about him in the Summa. Goodbye.